A lot of people get in touch with me and say, we like your videos, Richard, but talking about the situation is not enough. We need action. And I'm talking about the situation of all these globalists, these elites, these power mad people who are controlling our lives. You know, we've seen some of them at the moment in Davos sort of making decisions, and some of the videos have been leaking out and telling us what's on their mind. Some of the big names have been revealing the things that are going to be coming down in 2023 and beyond. And it's quite frightening. And so I absolutely understand that people are saying, but we never voted for this. We never argued for this. We don't want this. But what can we do? It's all very well you sitting there, Richard, and all the other people on these social media platforms telling us about it. But we need action. And that's absolutely true. And I get that. And people want to feel that they're empowered and are doing things. So I started to think about this, and I thought, well, there's two things here. Firstly, there's more of us than there are of these people who want to rule the world. Somebody has come up with a figure, I don't know how true it is, but something like there's 1 million of us for every one of them. It seems a plausible figure for all the people who want to control us. There's a hell of a lot more of us. But there's still a hell of a lot of us who've either willfully are blind, or they've put their head in the sands, or they've been so groomed by mainstream media and they believe that the government, the benevolent government that I often talk about, and these people are on our side. And in many ways, they still are happy to go along with whatever is dished out to them, which is a problem for those people who just want to, what shall we say, awaken them to what's going on without being thought of as people often say, a conspiracy theorist. So I thought, right, okay, one of our missions then, I guess, is that we need to try and get these people, the people who are head in the sand or just not believing or think it's all a load of nonsense, to see it in a slightly different way. So then I thought, you know how we've had these powerful people using tools against us? We've been hypnotized. We've been told what we must do. And apart from those of us who are sort of a bit onto them, everybody's gone along with it. And I thought, yeah, these tools, maybe we should be using these tools ourselves, but not so much to go back at the people using them against us, but also to take them a little bit further to those people who've decided that it's all okay, that everything's fine, that these people have got our best interest at heart or whatever. You'll see what I mean in a second. So, for example, we've been continually told about the Great Reset, as if by repeating this a number of times it's okay. We were told to protect the NHS. We were told to stay at home. We were told many of these 3-word messages repeated, drip, drip, drip. Now, I used to work in corporate videos, and one of my big clients was radio stations, and they would do these videos where we took the testimonials of the people who advertised, and it was very clear that in radio and advertising generally that you're repeating the message you want to get out. You know, the message that a certain drink is absolutely ideal, or that this kitchen by this particular company is the perfect one and you can trust them. And so you would repeat the message time and time again so that it was forefront of your mind. So if you wanted a new kitchen, you would immediately think of that particular brand. If you thought of a fizzy drink, for example, you might think of that particular brand, and thus taking the money out of your pocket into that brand's own pocket. So that's how the advertising, this drip, drip, drip feed. Now, of course, we've also had that experience given to us by governments and these big powerful people by these 3-word expressions. And I thought, right, we should use that ourselves. So I reach out now to other people who are on YouTube, on all the other platforms, who are doing what we might call freedom fighting, if you like, that I believe that we should all come up with a series of slogans, 3-word slogans that we share and we repeat, not in any nasty way, but in a nice and friendly way. I'll tell you what I mean. In a way that gets ordinary people who are yet to awake thinking. So, for example, one of the things that people are frightened about at the moment is the central banks and the digital currency that's coming out. We know that this is the intention that is going to come out, and it's going to be sold as a convenient way of doing things. Now, anything that's convenient for us as it's being sold, I always ask, convenient for who? Because when you ask it that way, actually, whose convenience is it? So that's an example. If I was chatting to somebody in a pub, or I was talking online to somebody and we were talking about, and they weren't one of the enlightened people, and they were saying, oh, isn't it great? You know, you can get one of these devices, you stick it in your house and you can ask it to play you music. You don't have to go up and press a button. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to have a CD in your collection. You can just talk to it across the room and you just ask it. It's so convenient. And I would say, convenient for who? Because it's got a microphone in it and it's listening to you. Is it convenient way of perhaps spying on your conversations? They may poo-poo that, but at least you've dropped the seed in their mind. Oh yeah, it could be listening. I wonder if that's a thing. Something else with the digital currency, which we've just said is a convenience for people. You can easily buy something because it's also digital. But not only convenient for who, i.e. the banks, convenient for the banks to decide whether they want you to buy those things. Oh, you've bought too much diesel, or you've bought too many meat pies. Maybe we will restrict you. So cash is very important, of course. If you have a cash transaction, it's between you and the person that you're buying or selling from. Very important. So if I was having conversations, again, with these unenlightened people, I would drop into the conversation as many times as I could 3-word expressions or 3-word slogans like use more cash. I must use more cash because cash is best. Cash is private. It's endorsing it, but without having to have that conversation of why. You're just subliminally suggesting to the people that you're talking to, and it's a tool, it's a very powerful tool. Cash is best. I always think that cash is best, don't you? I must use more cash. It's so convenient. And you just drop these phrases into your everyday conversation with people who are not enlightened, and it's sowing the seed. That's what it's all about. It's that drip, drip, drip thing that the big globalists and the elites and the governments and the tyrants have been using on us, but we can use it on our fellow man to wake them up. Another thing, when we're talking about we're being controlled and all the rest of it, or these things are coming down and people are going, well, I never voted for this. It's like, no, I don't know why that is, because we are sovereign. We are sovereign. It's another slogan, giving the impression, or the meaning, of course, that we hold the power. The people should decide. That's another one, people should decide. So it's that thing about gathering a number of slogans that you write, that you start to use, which has meaning, that gets to the point very quickly. People should decide. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? You could use that very easily. Yes, I know, well, people should decide, but it's the repetition. That's the important part, is the repetition that you're getting over to your fellow man so that they go, oh, yeah, no, you're right. People should decide. We are sovereign. We're being persuaded, or the next thing is that we're going to be persuaded that these 15-minute cities are going to be good for us. But we know they're not good for us. These are 15-minute prisons. So if anyone refers to me about that, I'll say, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the 15-minute prisons. What do you mean? Well, of course, they're going to curtail our movements and all of that. They're 15-minute prisons. Again, it's a 3-word slogan. These are my suggestions. You will find perfectly better ones for you. And I just hope that other YouTubers and other creators and other people who've got platforms, if we're serious about trying to help people, we need to get more people on our side, not necessarily by telling them very strongly what's going on, because people switch off, but very subtly get them on your side. The thing about climate change, and we've been horrified that CO2 is some evil thing, but it's the gas of life. I know I don't know who coined that, but I've heard that and I thought it's brilliant, because it is. It's the gas of life. Without it, plants won't grow. Without plants, animals can't eat. We can't eat. We eat animals, we eat plants. It's the gas of life. It's so obvious. It's so important. So when people are demonizing the CO2 and they say, but it traps this and it does this, and all, but it's the gas of life. It's so important. We don't want to reduce it. We could have so much more of it and there would be no real change on this planet. The other stuff is all bunkum there to confuse you. It's the gas of life. And things like medical interventions we've all been told to have, even though actually we're not really affected by a virus or something that might be flowing about. And I always say, I trust my body. I have an immune system. I trust my body. We've been here for hundreds of thousands of years. There have been many times there's been these viruses, and they do take out the people who are vulnerable, but the vast majority are perfectly fine because our bodies have an amazing immune system, and I trust my body. These are just some of the things that I'm going to be starting to use in my, not only in here, but also in my daily conversations with people who might be a little bit questioning. So these are tools that we can all use immediately to waken up more people, to get them to feel positive about life, and that things don't need to be as grim as perhaps the authorities and everybody else wants it to be. Good luck.